And now let's move to the National Assembly, where House of Representatives has launched a full-scale investigation into Nigerian Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus program, which over alleged failure, to deliver tangible benefits to vulnerable Nigerians. Lawmakers accused the program's leadership of failing to account for $696 million, which is approximately 1.06 trillion naira, sourced from a World Bank loan and government contributions, which were intended to provide livelihood support, food security services, and grants to poor households and small businesses. Initially introduced during COVID-19 pandemic as a social safety net, NG Cares was retained under the federal government's renewed agenda to cushion impact of recent economic reforms, including fuel subsidy removal and foreign exchange rate unification. The newly established House Committee on Community and Social Development, NG Cares, expressed displeasure over the absence of the program's leadership at its oversight session and resolved to initiate a full probe. The motion for the investigation was unanimously adopted.
We asked the Program Coordinating Office here in Abuja to give us data on how they implement the program, because we learned that the program has been on in the last 10 years, but there is no committee oversighting them. There is no individual or organization that is charged with the responsibility of looking after what the program or what the Program Coordinating Office is doing. Until the National Assembly now that they created this committee and they gave us the mandate to oversight this program. And having takes this responsibility, we collected data from the Program Coordinating Office here in Abuja, and so far we realized that every state in Nigeria, including FCT Abuja, they collected billions of naira under this program.
The House therefore resolves to carry out a full investigation of the activities of NG Cares 1 to determine why the huge resources provided by government through the states and the Federal Capital Territory have not resulted in adequate relief to Nigerian citizens from the hardships occasioned by economic reforms. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I so move.
Following a brief executive session, the committee addressed parliamentary correspondence challenging the program's managers to produce verifiable lists of individuals and groups that have so far benefited from the intervention.
The embassy's investigation should provide answers to the following nagging questions that create the disconnect between cause and effect. 1. Were the funds embezzled? Were the funds misappropriated or diverted to some other purpose in the state? Does the utilization of the fund create enough value for money? In other words, was there an undue inflation of contracts? Can the integrity and the fairness of the procurement process stand scrutiny? In other words, does the contract procurement follow due process? Does the inbuilt safeguards, IVS and TPMs operate effectively, or does they become compromised and fail? Was the distribution of national amounts fairly done? Why did some states manage to get more than the attributable national amount? Why does the operational mechanism fail in a number of states? How can the operational mechanism and delivery platforms DPs be strengthened across the state? Should training workshops be organized for NG Cares operative at the state and strengthen the operational mechanism and effectiveness of the delivery platforms? A discourse of cause and effect. Several states have claimed billions of naira for social transfer. These beneficiaries are Nigerians that can be reached. If fake names had been used to claim social transfer, we will say so. States have collected billions of naira for agri input and services, for labor-intensive agri infrastructure, for procurement of agri assets, and for development and upgrading of wet market and storage facilities. If we verify these claims, we will also disclose the impact they have had on food supply, food prices, and the flood of ordinary Nigerians.